Hey, welcome back to Driven Channel. I'm here with a special guest all the way from Canada, Miro Gajic, right? Miro
That's
Gajic.
right.
Yeah. So Miro, I want to get started with what you do. I know that you help a lot of people build their personal brand. You've scaled brands up to like over 1 billion views and helped them grow their personal brand. Tell me a little bit about your company and when did you start and how have you grown so fast?
Absolutely. So we started back in the days as a content agency. We were essentially, flying out the clients, filming 100 pieces of content in a day or two, and just managing their posting, their ideation, their scripting, everything that goes into the content process. What we realized was that wasn't actually the main issues for brands. A lot of brands had a really easy time scaling their followings. They didn't know how to monetize them,
Yeah.
right? So we pivoted to becoming a personal brand accelerator where we really focus on the full spectrum for clients. So everything from crafting the brand's offer to managing their conversion mechanisms to get those views into the DMs, into sales calls, and implementing sales process for them as well, right? So what really took us from being a content agency that was stuck at 40 or 50K per month for a while was understanding that with the amount of competition in the market, everything is becoming a commoditized offer, right? If you're doing content, if you're doing ads, if you're doing graphic design, someone can find the same talent in India for 20% of the price, right? So we moved away from just providing content services towards actually building personal brands through storytelling and building all of the assets that brands needed to scale at a high level. So it took us, after we made that pivot, about 6 to 8 months to scale the new business from 0 to 7 figures.
So you said stuck at 40, 50K a month. Is that you were stuck as an agency making 40,
Right.
50K a month in revenue?
Right, and it was a nightmare. You know how it gets when you're an agency and you scale to that level of making, 40 to 50K per month. The operational complexity, the amount of staff you have to manage, the margins just go straight into the garbage.
So now you're over 6 figures a month.
Right.
6 figures a month, and then did the clients like 10x? You have more clients. That's how you grew it, or you raised your prices, or how did it work
we have
out?
so many less clients now.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's
Right.
better. Yeah.
Right. So
Less headaches.
we were selling retainers for 3 to 5K and being stuck at that 40, 50K mark, whereas now our flagship program starts at 15K up front. And then we're taking a piece of the revenue on the back end, right? 15 to 20% of the revenue, plus we have a continuation offer. So by increasing that price to 15K and getting that entire lifetime value up front, we were able to cut the amount of clients we had by like 3 to 4x, but also increase our revenue by 3 to 4x.
So 15K up front.
Right.
That covers like how many months, or how does that work?
Yeah, so it's a 6-month program.
Okay.
And essentially during that 6-month program, we're building out the entire personal brand, right? So the story, what the brand stands for, how it's going to resonate with the audience, everything from the mantras and the things that the personal brand will say to the platforms it's going to be on, the kinds of content it's going to create, sales team, content team, etc. And it's just a process of scaling those brands to that 6-figure per month mark.
And why does it have to be 6 months? Is 6 months like the magic number that it takes to?
It takes like 2 to 3 months for us to complete the build, but we have 6 months of guaranteed consulting. So even after the build is complete, we're still holding their hand through any challenge that they might have during that period.
And before you were doing like 5K a month?
Yeah, exactly.
And why was that a headache?
When you're providing like a commoditized service for a retainer, you're trading your time for money.
Yeah.
Right? And then when you're getting 30% margins on a 3K offer, it's going to take you a year to get 12K in profit. So for a year, you have to battle against needy customers who are expecting more and more every single month. They're having other competitors come to them saying, well, I can get this for cheaper. You have to battle churn for a full year to make 12K. When you provide a transformation instead of a retainer or a service, you can charge that entire amount up front. Now you're selling 15K at 80% margins instead.
Yeah.
So we're getting this entire month.
What if you just kept it like the 5K a month and then made it like a 6-month contract or 12-month contract?
We could, but we take the revenue share as well. So we do make money every single month on the back end too, right?
Yeah. So you mentioned storytelling. Why is storytelling important, and what do you mean by storytelling?
Right. Storytelling is everything, right? So
is that part of the VSL?
It's part of the VSL for sure. VSL is a great method of storytelling, right? And so it's something that we base a lot of our sales around. But I think Yuval Noah Harari really explained it well in his book Sapiens, that storytelling is the one thing that's allowed us as a species to advance compared to any other species, right? Whether it's currency, tradition, transfer of knowledge. The reason why we're civilized and we have technology and we have everything we have now is because of our ability to storytell, to tell stories, to transfer knowledge and information down through people and through generations, right? And so whether it's sales, whether it's marketing, whether it's building a personal brand, everything relies on your ability to tell a story to another person.
Yeah. Like when you see people on social media, let's just say there's like the top 6 business influencers.
Right.
And all of them obviously are great storytellers, right? What's the difference between, like, let's just say, well, you know Patrick Bet-David, right?
Right.
He's a great storyteller. Like, he's one of the best storytellers that I've met. So let's say Patrick Bet-David's storytelling versus like a Wes Watson storyteller. You know Wes Watson?
Right.
How would you compare the difference? or like those two?
Right. Yeah. So there's different archetypes of communicators, right? Some people are visionary, some people are persuasive, some people are charismatic, some people are empathetic.
Yeah.
And Wes Watson and Patrick Bet-David are very different in the way they tell stories. But
because the main thing is like Patrick, he'll say a story like with passion, and then he'll be like, when I was a little kid and the bombs and I was running and I was gonna die, and my dad and then I came to America, and then he talks about business, how he started his company and they sued him, he almost went out of business, he raised capital, but he says it with a lot of passion,
right? And
he's very like he doesn't cuss, he's very professional the way he speaks. But then you have Wes Watson, who tells people like, just tells people like, stop being a bitch and you fucking little pussy, and both work. Patrick, he obviously grew a business that's big, huge. Well, not huge, but he grew a big business, sold it for multiple hundreds of millions. And then Wes Watson, he doesn't have like a business like Patrick, but Wes Watson makes a lot of money every month with his personal brand. So do you help both of those type of business or individual influencers, and what's the main difference on how you help each of them?
Right. Yeah. So both of them are fantastic storytellers in very different ways. They have very different audiences, right? They speak to a different avatar, so they understand the emotional psyche and what drives each of those people. So they communicate in different styles, but what they have in common with their storytelling is that they both understand that storytelling is about allowing someone to imagine themselves in a different state of being. Right. So a shitty storyteller or a shitty salesperson will try to sell the service. The good storyteller or the great storyteller or the great salesperson will sell the state of being. So it's instead of, if you're a tax consultant, instead of saying, I can help you save 20K on taxes, or I can help you increase your bottom line. Yeah. It's, I can help you change the level of security you can give to your family, the way your wife and children look at you, be the superhero for your kids, give them a better quality of education. Do you want to spend your vacations in Cuba, or do you want to spend it in St. Bart's, right? Do you want to be looked down on by your neighbors, or do you want to be the person that they admire?
Well, Cuba, you get more money for more bang for your buck.
You do get more bang for your buck. Yeah.
So like, I mean,
different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, no, but I get your point. So for example, like you have a tax guy.
Yeah.
So and then you have an attorney, right?
Right.
That's so. Let's say an attorney. How would an attorney sell his story? How would his story look like?
Yeah. So it would be the same thing. Instead of selling, I'm gonna give you the best possible chance of winning this case. Yeah. Right. It's instead like, what do you and your girlfriend have planned this year? Like, what do you want to do? What does your child have any events coming up? Or your son's graduating? Mm-hmm. What do you do with your free time? Oh, you like to bike with your friends? Oh, you like to eat, Philly cheesesteaks at this place every Sunday. You're going to lose all of that, right? That's the state of being you're going to be in. Everything that means anything to you, everything that gives you passion, that sets you on fire, that's out the window, right? And you're never going to get those years back. So it's that state of being. It's not about what's in the courtroom or what happens in the courtroom. It's what happens after, right? Do you want to be this version of yourself in 6 months from now that watches his kids grow up without him, who isn't admired by his family, whose wife might leave him, who will miss his potential of being, the artist or the soccer player or the entrepreneur he wanted to be? Are you going to end up being, a burnout or a loser or someone who didn't reach their potential? Or are you going to become the person who gets a second lease on life and absolutely crushes it, right? That's what you're selling.
Yeah. And then I know you do some Zoom calls, right? You do a lot of Zoom calls.
A lot of Zoom calls.
So the Zoom calls, how do they work? Are those for clients that you have, clients that you work with, or what are the Zoom calls for? Because I know earlier you were on a Zoom call.
Yeah, so I've been trying to buy back my time as much as possible in every single area of my business, right? So most of the clients that we have in our consultancy, they all have the same problems, right? Just at different points of time. So we've essentially systemized every single facet of our business, whether it's systems, ads, sales, into different compartments where we have every single day of the week a different coaching call for that compartment. So now 30 clients can come on at once and get advice on that problem rather than all having to have one-on-one Zoom calls with you, right?
Yeah.
So instead of having to spend 30 hours in a month teaching something, you'll spend 1 hour doing it.
Got it. So you do it once a month?
Every single day of the week, we have a different coach in the program teaching that specific facet.
So you have other coaches besides you?
Exactly.
Yeah. And like what are those topics? Like what are different topics that you go over like in the course of a week or month?
Yeah. So
because like what's the top, let's just say what's the top 3 problems? Like let's say like Maria wants to be famous. She wants to build her brand because right now nobody knows her. She has like how many followers do you have?
Like 14, 13.
So she's not doing that bad. She has 1,300 followers. So let's just say she has a good idea. She has a good product, but nobody knows her. How would you help? What are the 3 biggest problems you think she has and that you can help her so that she can come out and start selling her makeup artist stuff?
Right. Yeah, so there's 3 main pillars we look at the business, or that every business owner thinks they have an issue with. The first one being offer. You need something people actually want to buy.
An offer, because most people don't even have an offer.
Right.
So it's like, why do you want followers if you don't have anything to offer?
You have nothing to sell. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you need something that the market is actually desperately wanting to buy, right? And it also has something that can be very easily scalable. It's highly leveraged. You don't have to trade your time for money. So the first thing is coming up with a offer that's actually going to allow your business to scale.
Yeah.
Right. And so most of the time people think they have an acquisition problem or a sales problem. They have an offer problem. Because people aren't getting on the calls because your offer sucks, and you're not closing them because your offer sucks, right? So the first
You
problem,
mean calls is like when you get a lead?
Exactly.
And getting on the call and closing them.
right? They don't want to fill out your lead form on your VSL. They don't want to click your DM ad. It's not because you're not running enough ads. It's because your offer sucks, right? So the first thing is offer. The second thing is attention and leads. How do you drive attention to that offer? How do you get people to see that offer, right? So you can,
Go live.
You can go live.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people overlook. And as you know very well, it's one of the best ways to sell.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about going live? Would you say it's your favorite way to sell?
I hate it. I have neck pain from lives because I go live on all the platforms.
Right.
So like I have 7 different platforms. So I hate it. But when I'm consistent, minimum 20K a day, 20K a day, 20K a day that just comes in, boom, like easy.
I believe it.
From the lives because I have the offers, right?
Exactly.
But before I didn't have the offers, so when I met Wes Watson, he's the one that he like the biggest thing I learned from Wes Watson, and by the way, like I'm a big supporter of Wes Watson. I love the guy. He taught me create your offers. So something very simple that he told me was, hey, do a $299 month to month, do a 3 months $750. Do a 6 months $12.99, or do a year for $2,000. So that's how I started, and I eliminated my $67 monthly subscription, which is a virtual training. So I didn't eliminate it, but I didn't push it because I just I went, once I get my email, I grow my email list and my cell phone list, and I send them the offer, and then they sign up, and that's how I signed those up. But I started focusing on the coaching. So I built that offer. So then I built more offers, and then I found out that some people $2,000 for a year is actually a turnoff. Does that make sense?
For sure.
It's a turnoff because like if you're a multimillionaire, you're like $2,000 is nothing. Like what am I gonna learn from $2,000 for a year? Zoom calls in the group, I don't want to be part of that. So then it's easier to sell 7,500 than to sell 2,000. It's easier to sell $30,000 than to sell 2,000 for that group of people. So when I go live, I'm there. I have like my driven funnel. So I'm just pitching the mastermind, and I'm asking people, hey, if you make over 500K, comment business. So then I have people commenting business, business, business. So then you do you explore, or you get the data, or you get the details. Are they qualified or are they not qualified? So when they're qualified, they're making a certain amount of money. Like let's say 6 million. That means they qualify for a bigger offer, right? So the lives, best way of getting a lot of leads, but it is draining. It's not like enjoyable to be there on the live, sitting down, twisting your neck back and forth, getting neck pain. I have to get a neck massage every time after the lives. But I'm Albert Syl. If you like what you're watching and you want to learn from an entrepreneur that built 8 companies and makes over $30 million a year, text me at 213-277-6208 and let's make it happen. But it works great. So like, I mean, you're exchanging doing a live and twisting your necks for an easy 20K minimum, sometimes more. And then when you have your sales team, then they get more leads too. And then you're running ads, getting leads from there, but those are more cold. So it's a combination of everything, but lives for sure. I would say that lives are the best way to get business.
Yeah, and I believe it because people overlook how high intent and high connectivity the leads you have on ads are, right? A lot of people overlook, they go into a live and they might see you on a live at 6 a.m. with 4 people and wonder, why is Albert doing this?
Yeah.
But what they don't understand is you're probably going to close 2 of those 4 people.
Yeah.
Because they're so high intent, right? Yeah, absolutely. And the price thing that you mentioned, a lot of our clients double to triple their revenue simply by increasing their price point from 5 to 15K, right? And they're so scared at the beginning to make that jump because they say, well, I don't have the case studies, or who am I to be charging this much? But the price you set is one of the highest signals for the quality of your service, right?
Yeah.
It directly communicates the quality of your service. So like you said, is someone going to believe you can help them to scale to 50K per month or 100K per month or $1 million per month if your product is $3,000?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Right?
So you said the product. So let's say Maria gets her product, and then now she has to get awareness, right? You said lives. You said what are the other
what we
ways?
really look at is there's one-to-one cold, which is you reaching out to people in the DMs.
Cold's
DMs.
cold's the hardest one, right?
For sure. So one-to-one cold, you reaching out to people in the DMs. One-to-one warm, you going to events.
Would you say lives are warm because there are people that already are looking at you and follow
Exactly.
you? So that's why when they get somebody there and they're like, hey, business, I make 6 million. That's a qualified warm lead because they know about you, they follow you, and they're saying they make 6 million. So that's a solid lead versus an ad lead.
That's it. So one-to-one cold, which is the cold DMs, one-to-one warm, which is going to be, going to events, speaking to people in your network, one-to-many cold, which is essentially running ads because you're reaching many people with one asset, so it's more leveraged, but they don't know who you are. They don't trust you yet.
Yeah.
And then one-to-one warm, which is content, right? Building an audience. So building this asset of people who know you, trust you, and want to come to you to buy from you.
So would you say it's important to be on other people's podcasts to get more views, more known, and to be on speaking events to get more people to get to know you? Is that key?
Absolutely, man. Trust is everything, right? We're in a trust recession, and one of the easiest ways to increase your trust in the marketplace is by feeding off the trust of someone else, right? So the whole game right now for a lot of people is, how can I get in the room with the biggest people? And these kind of podcasts are the easiest way for a lot of people to do that, right? Which is why they're so valuable.
Yeah.
And it's pretty crazy that once you build an audience, it's another really good telltale sign of the asset of content or an audience is you can sit down for an hour with someone on a podcast and charge them, $50,000 to spend an hour of your time with you. So that's an interesting question that comes to mind for me based on the amount of money you make through, coaching, through podcasts, through all the different channels you have. How do you value, or what would you put the value of an hour of your time at?
I mean, an hour of my time is I turn down a lot of things because like I feel like my hour is worth at least, let me get it right. The way I do it is, so I'll do $30 million and I'll divide it by 2080. So about 14,000 bucks an hour. That's how I would calculate. That's why sometimes like when people want to spend 1 hour with me coaching, it's usually that like 15K for 1 hour. I'll do like 40K for, what is it? 3 sessions or two. So that's where I'm going. But the thing is that the reason why I say that is because, like, am I gonna rich people value their time. Poor people, they waste time. They, like, a broke person, a brokey, would rather drive across the state or drive for hours in traffic to save $40. A rich person will buy time by hiring people, hiring a delivery person, or just buying time. So if I'm gonna go spend time with somebody, it has to be at least 14K. Why? Because, I mean, I could do a live in 1 hour and make 14K in 1 hour. But not only that, it's beyond that, because even if I collect $7,500 in 1 hour live, I'll get a bunch of other leads that convert later. So it's just the activity and the output that I'm doing. So people have to really pay me a good chunk. That's why the worst pickup line from any aspiring entrepreneur is being like, hey, you know what? I wanna like, let's say somebody tells you, hey, Miro, let me take you out to lunch to pick your brain, or let me take you out to dinner to the best restaurant in Canada to pick your brain. You might be like, you know what? It's gonna cost more than $300, you know, and $300 for dinner. That's my 1 hour or hour and a half is, and then the driving time. It's not worth it. So I tell people, you gotta pay to play. So if you wanna have dinner, okay, cool. Pay 15 grand and I'll go to dinner with you. And it might be more, because now you have to take into account the driving part and all that stuff. So that's the way I see time. It's very valuable. And what I've noticed more now, more than ever, is that I have 3 little girls. I have a wife. I have a dog. I have my parents. I have employees. I have people that work here, independent contractors, salespeople, offices. So my time is very, very limited. So now I find myself saying no more than ever. So it's the power of no. And I think people sometimes, they don't learn that saying no is more powerful than saying yes.
Right. So let's say your time's worth 14K an hour, right? What would you say in your business you dedicate the most time to? Is it content? Is it training staff? What's the single activity you spend the most time on?
Working on myself and working on my business. That's the most I spend my time on. So for me, if I have a good event to go speak, like, I don't go to events. So I'm not going to go to, like, Patrick Bet-David's event. I'm not going to go to Grant Cardone's event. I'm not going to go to, like, Tom Ferry's event or things like that, because I have my own event. So if they want me to speak at their event, then I'll go to their event to speak. But I'm not going to go as a consumer. People might be watching this and they might be saying, oh, you're so arrogant, you're full of it. I'm like, I'm going to go there. Like, I went to those events for the longest, for a decade. But then after a while, like, you think Patrick Bet-David's going to buy a ticket and go to a seminar? You think he would do that? Would Grant Cardone buy a ticket and go to a seminar?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. What about Patrick? Is he going to buy a CEO ticket and sit in the front row and go to a seminar with somebody else? Yeah. So, I mean, some of it is ego. Obviously, Patrick Bet-David and Grant Cardone have a big ego. But another thing is they also earn their position. So they have their own events. And if they get paid to go speak at an event, then they'll go there. But why? Because when you go speak at a big event, then you get all that exposure. So that's what I focus on right now. I want to be speaking at events. I want to be doing podcasts for content, because then I'm going to get more viewers from another party. So you have a book of business, right? So you'll post this, I'll post it, and we're going to collaborate. So I'm going to get some of your followers, you're going to get some of my followers. And if it makes sense, then people are going to hire you, people are going to hire me. So that's working on yourself. That's working on your business, because you're getting more known. And the more people that know you, the more people pay you. So those are the things that I focus on. So like today, I've been back to back. on just MMAs. MMAs are money making activities. So one of the things that I incorporate every day is having about 2 hour workout, 1 hour and 40 minutes. I'll do weights for 1 hour, and then I'll do 40 minutes of cardio. But then the time it takes you to get started, and then I'm using my phone sometimes when I'm at the gym. So it takes about 2 hours. So 2 hours of my day is gone just working out and doing my cardio, like weights and cardio. And so that's working on myself. If I didn't do cardio, like I don't just do jogging, I sprint. So I'll do intervals when your heart rate goes fast. I feel that helps, that keeps me alive. Because if I didn't do the workouts the way I do the workouts, then I would have had already a few heart attacks. Maybe I would be dead. Because I deal with a lot of pressure, like running a $30 million a year businesses, with lawsuits, with backstabbers, with challenges, ups and downs, economy, people. People are the hardest people to deal with. So it's just very, very complicated to run businesses, especially if you're a founder and you start a business from zero. Dude, that's a nightmare. So it's a lot of stuff in place. But like I said, how rich people buy time. So I'm not here doing accounting. I'm not here paying people. I'm not here checking on employees. I'm not here checking on salespeople. Like I hired people to do that for me, so that I can step away and I can focus on money making activities that are like $14K an hour activities. Because you do a podcast, especially a big podcast, 1 hour, that's going to be worth more than $14K by far, because it's going to keep paying you forever.
Right.
Like people still reach out to me. Oh, I saw you on Dropping Bombs. Oh, I saw you with Patrick Bet-David on the podcast. So podcast, huge. Speaking on other people's stages, huge. So those are the things I do. I work on myself and work on my business. And then the free time that I have, I only spend it doing things that I love. Doing things that I love. What are things that I love? Being with my kids. Having some, I don't know if you ever had champagne?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like champagne?
Love champagne.
Dude, I love champagne with a passion. So like champagne, like especially when it's super, super cold and good quality, not Corbel or the Andre or the cheap champagne that's $8 or $5. The like Veuve Clicquot, I don't know if I said it right, but Veuve Clicquot, yellow label, perfect champagne. It tastes so good. So I enjoy having like a nice cold glass of champagne. I enjoy like the beach, especially tropical places. So those are the things I want to do when I do have a few hours. Other than that, I'm focused on the money making activities. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's what I focus my whole day on.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So let me ask you this. You said today you have 2 podcasts. You aren't live stream for an hour.
I was going to have 3 podcasts.
You were going to have 3.
2.
If you had to guess on like a daily basis, what would you say you spend? How much time do you spend on content? 2 hours, 3 hours, if you had to guess roughly?
I'm probably spending about, I would say at least at the minimal least about 8 hours a day on content. So 8 hours a day I do content.
Right. And you said your time is worth 14 grand a day.
Yeah.
So you're
an hour.
An hour.
Yeah.
So you're spending 6 figures a day on content, really, when you think about it. Right.
Well, the secret for me is that I don't have content day, or I don't create content, because I am the content. So what I do is, like right now we're doing the podcast. We're gonna get content from this. So I'm not a content creator. I'm not like Alex Hormozy or Leila Hormozy, where they're like, okay, it's content time, and then they get a half a day or a full day, and then they're gonna just be recording content and spending the whole time on content. I don't do that because I have to run different businesses. So when I'm doing a podcast, we cut reels and content from this. When I'm doing trainings, I cut clips from that. When I'm having meetings, content from that. When I'm working out, sometimes we even get content from that. So I'm always being recorded, with like a stick camera. So following me around, I go speak on stage, I'm being recorded. So I think the biggest thing here for people is you are the content. So like, just hire a full-time videographer, be recorded at all times, and get clips from that. And then that way you don't have to waste a full day. Oh, it's content creation time. That's the way I do it.
I'm Albert Syl. If you like what you're watching and you want to learn from an entrepreneur that built 8 companies and makes over $30 million a year, text me at 213-277-6208 and let's make it happen.
Yeah, 100%. The success to being an entrepreneur these days is, to be a successful entrepreneur, you need to live your life like you're in a reality show. And you need to understand that your life is a reality show, right? So, and that's really crushing it right now. Documentation is crushing it in content because people are so tired of how much bullshit there is in the industry right now, right? Everyone sitting down, speaking to the camera, talking down to people as an expert who knows everything, and the hyper edited style of videos. So when you just document the shit that you're doing, people really resonate. They find it raw, authentic, and they see that you actually do what you talk about, right?
Yeah.
But now just based on the value of your time, so we talked about, again, 14K. Why do you spend 6 figures a day on content and your personal brand? Like, why is that so important to you? Talk to me about that.
Content is the most important part of anybody, because it doesn't matter how good Maria is if nobody knows her. So if you could have a crappy product, not saying that Maria has a crappy product, but if she's famous, she's gonna sell anything. And how do you become famous? By having content, by being on social media, by being in front of everybody. So that's why content is king right now. Being known.
Absolutely. What I really love, I think that life is nothing about the situation that you're dealt and everything how you react to it, right? And you were talking about how with grants, you had invested 500, 600, however many thousands of dollars, and you were looking to speak on that stage, and you kept getting the answer, you're not there yet, because you don't have the audience. You haven't built that audience up yet, right? And so a lot of people would just say, well, fuck you, and they would, react negatively to that situation. But you understood that everything, is a reflection. Yeah. And you said, okay, bet, I'm going to make that audience, right? So how important do you think mindset is to business? Do you think that everything comes down to mindset? Because I think business is actually very physically simple and easy. Every single problem has already been solved by someone else. But I think most people are mentally a slave to their minds. So mentally, it's very tough. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, because let's say you have CPAs, attorneys, real estate people that are clients of yours, and there's 5 things that I always say that you need right now with the new economy that's going on to thrive, to make it right now. And you're either making it or you suck, you're dying, you're broke. So you got to kill it. You got to go to be a killer and to make it rain. But there's 5 key things, and one of them is mindset. Because if you don't have a strong mindset, you can't deal with all the pressure. You're gonna crumble and cry and die out. So and there's you gotta have the strong mindset. You gotta be a genius marketer. You gotta be a wizard in your industry, knowledge-wise. So you have to be knowledgeable in what you do. So those are 3. You have to have the strongest work ethic. So you got to be working 18 hours a day if you want to have a chance. You have to have a strong work ethic. And then and then the other one, the 5th one, is going to be being a closer. Like if you can't close, and I'm not saying being good in sales, if you're not a powerful closer where you could close anybody, you could go to you could go to the hottest club in Monaco and boom, close the perfect 11. Because there's girls, usually you rate them 1 to 10. In Monaco, there's 11s. So if you go to the hottest club in Monaco and close an 11, dude, you're a master closer.
So you pronounce Monaco the way only a wealthy person would know to pronounce it. What are some other words or some other things that only if you know how to pronounce it?
I don't know. I think a better answer for that is before, one of the biggest tips for anybody is level up with your friends. So before I used to be in front of Grant Cardone, and I would get nervous, I would stutter, I would my accent will come out more, and I didn't know how to communicate with him because I was like, man, Grant Cardone is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And I was like, man, I'm just I'm a little guy. I'm just starting, and I would get intimidated a little bit. Same thing with like Ed Milet, things like that. But then I went for it, and I was not the best in communicating with them, but being around them forced me to level up. And then after that, I moved up to billionaires. So I started communicating with billionaires, and I'm always looking at how they control themselves, how they speak, how they dress, how they walk. There's a different way billionaires walk, speak, talk, like move, dress. So I started just copying them, and I learned a lot from that. So when you learn, if you could have some homework here, go try to have dinner with billionaires, and then you're gonna learn a lot from it, and then that's gonna help you in everything you do in life. So that's one of the key things that I learned, and that helped me level up too, being around a better circle.
Right. Is there one moment in your career where your soul and your spirit and your mind was completely crushed? You felt like there was no going back from that point in your business or in your life, where you had completely hit rock bottom, and that forced you to completely bounce back, and that bounce back made you realize, I'm I'm that guy?
Well, I don't think there's a such thing as, I think hitting rock bottom is being dead. So like you said earlier, you said, oh, another day I'm alive and I'm happy, and Brad Lee always says that, like, hey, the most important part is waking up again, because you have another day of life. Every day you have challenges, but it's not rock bottom if there's solutions. So like what really is a rock bottom? Like, what you're gonna have a lot of issues and challenges when you're a business owner. Like, it's never gonna end. So for me, like, you have to have that mindset to figure things out. What's the biggest issue you think business owners deal with?
Mindset.
But what's the biggest issue? Like mindset is you need a mindset to fix the issues. But what's the biggest issues that business owners have on a weekly basis or monthly basis sometimes?
I personally always look at it as you just don't have that. You need that paradigm shift to change your understanding of reality, right?
What if there's no sales? If there's no sales, or if sales drop by 50%, then there's going to be a money problem, right?
Right.
So like, sales always fixes everything. So if you could, if revenue is there and you could increase revenue, you could make more sales, it'll fix anything. So when sometimes there's reasons why revenue drops, and you got to figure it out. Recessions happen, or everybody's broke. So how do you fix that? You got to focus on the 1%ers. If you have a lot of 1% clients, then you're always going to do good, because they're always going to exist. I think it was Gary V. He told me, hey, focus on the 1%ers instead of the 99%ers, and you'll always crush it. And then I have another friend who's very successful. His name is Neil Patel. He's one of my close friends. He's one of my neighbors. Neighbors meaning he lives very close to me. We have dinners, we hang out. I learn a lot from him, and he always tells me that you got to focus on the 1%ers. His clients are big. Like, instead of him getting like $5,000 contracts, he gets like $30 million contracts, $20 million contracts from huge companies. I'm talking about like $1 trillion companies, $100 billion companies. So like, you'll focus on those 1%ers, you'll always be good.
What do you think what have you seen the 1%ers really want in life?
They don't want to waste time. Like, they want to save time, and they want to do things they enjoy. They don't deal with bullshit. Time, they value time the most of anybody. And the super wealthy people, for the most part, 1%ers, they're in their 60s or over. So they value time even more, because they're getting close to meeting God and going to heaven. Some of them.
That's right.
So they value time.
I always say that great storytellers don't sell services, they sell beliefs.
Yeah.
What are your beliefs? What are the beliefs of your dream clients? How do you connect with them on that level?
How do I connect with clients?
What's your belief system? If you had to describe what Albert stands for, what does Albert stand for?
Albert stands for somebody that like you gotta have your money. It has to be bigger than money. What drives you? So like you want to be somebody that wants to be a legend, somebody that's gonna I would say fix the world or help a lot of people. It sounds like a copy or something that a lot of people repeat, but I'll tell you this. Like for example, let's look at the wealthiest person in the world on paper, right? Who is it? Elon Musk. Elon Musk is not driven by money. If you think about it, he's not driven by money at all. Like Elon Musk has a bigger purpose. So what's his purpose? He wants to change the world and he wants to help a lot of people. He wants to change the life of a lot of people. And what do I mean by that? He's so crazy. He's thinking about like what's going to happen when Earth ends. We're going to go to Mars. That's his purpose. It's not money. Like Elon Musk does not care about money at all. Like he doesn't even spend a lot of money. Think about it. When he sold one of his first companies, he made a lot of money and he reinvested all of it to buy other companies and he was broke again. So like Elon Musk, his purpose in life is beyond money. Like I don't even think he cares about money. Money is just a tool for his mission. So his mission is to save people on Earth so that once Earth ends, we go live in Mars. Tesla, like Tesla makes them a lot of money, but what is Tesla? Tesla's he promotes Tesla as having a healthier Earth, not using gasoline but what is Tesla? Tesla makes a lot of money. Why? Because Tesla is a technology. It's a database company, so it collects a lot of data, kind of like the iPhones. They're looking at you when you're not even when you don't even have it on. It's probably recording you still. But my point is like his belief is he's gonna save the world and he's gonna go to outer space and he's gonna create life in Mars, and that's what he's gonna do. So for me, like, what is money good for? You could go buy stuff, go to a nice restaurant, but for me, especially being Latino, like being Mexican, I want to be like that person that changes the world by impacting the Latino community. Why? Because there's nobody like me. There's Grant Cardone is not Latino. Tony Robbins is not Latino. All those people that are influencing, like John Maxwell, you know, they're all white. So for me, I think that if I change the world and help the Latinos become entrepreneurs and change their life for their families, that alone is going to make me a legend. So when I'm not here anymore, then I'm going to have my great, or let's not even go that far. When my daughter Italia or my daughters are 70 years old or 80 and I'm gone from this world, they're going to have their friends and kids, and they're going to be, hey, was Albert Syl your papa? Was he your papa? Damn, he changed this world. Yeah, he passed away. He was a multi-billionaire, maybe trillionaire. But beyond that, like I made all that money, all that wealth. I created all that wealth because I created something that changed the world, fixed the world, and helped a lot of people. So it's a lot. I really I went deep on it, but my purpose in life is to help as many people in the world as possible, billions of people.
I love that you said Tesla is a data company, right? Because all of the most successful companies are data companies, right? Amazon is successful because Amazon has more data than anyone on the planet regarding products, right? So they know what every product should be placed at, what it should be priced at, how long shipping time should take, what the copy should be for every single product. If you look at Google, they have more search data than any other entity on the planet. If you look at OpenAI, they have more training data than any other single data company on the planet. Facebook, right? Everything is data. And so when you're able to tell your dream customer, hey, if you're, let's say, a realtor and you have data on, I know exactly what 60 million buyer-seller leads are looking for, what kind of content they want to see, what they want to hear, what's going to make them feel comfortable. That data is what's going to allow you to dominate the market, right?
Yeah.
So what are you doing with your company as far as AI and data? Let's talk about AI. Are you implementing AI in your business?
Sure. I mean, more like technology. I have like maybe I can tell you kind of like what I do, and then you could kind of share what you do.
I'm Albert Syl. If you like what you're watching and you want to learn from an entrepreneur that built 8 companies and makes over $30 million a year, text me at 213-277-6208 and let's make it happen.
That way, like people that are watching this, they can reach out to you and hire you, and you could help them out. But before, I was not using AI, right? So there's a lot of average people out there. They don't know how to put sentences together, right? So if you have those average people use AI, they're going to create professional, convincing sentences that where they can email people back. They could request things professionally, and where before you didn't have AI. Now there's AI now also that can answer questions for you, answer phone calls, create just anything, right? So AI, I think, is very important. I personally don't use AI myself. Only on special circumstances, but my company does use AI to communicate. Now, I use technology when it comes to like advertising. So for example, the landing pages and the VSL and all that stuff, like where you install an index to the websites, that way you track it and then you upload it back to Meta and to Google. And then I don't know, do you use Hyros?
For ad frame tracking, we don't.
Yeah. So like there's Hyros that kind of tracks more in depth. It tracks like your ROAS, return on ad spend, and there's a bunch of other things that I get done by it, but I have professionals that help me with that. But absolutely, like AI and technology, you have to use it now, because if not, your competitors are going to use it against you, and it doesn't matter how good you are. If other people are just as good as you are, but they're using technology, AI, and all that stuff, then they're going to crush you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about time is the most important asset, right? And if you're not using data in your business, you're wasting more time than you can fathom, right? So
Yeah.
why would you test anything? Why would you test what ad headlines are going to work the best? What kind of content is performing the best right now? Where your target market's going to be most profitable if the data is already out there, right? So the problem with data is there's so many billions of data points that it would take someone forever to go look at, the last 10,000 videos posted this month. What were the most highest converting headlines, the highest converting filming styles, the highest converting topics? With AI, you don't have to use human labor to do that, right? You can get that instantaneously. And so the reason we're able to win at such a fast rate with our clients, why we're able to scale people from a few hundred followers to tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of followers in a matter of months, is because we're not doing that testing. We're letting other people do it for us, right? So if we're in the tax niche, we're scraping hundreds of thousands of data points on what's resonating with people right now, right? People want to hear specifically about write-offs. They want specifically content that's filmed in POV. They want specifically these kind of hooks. Great. We find that, and then we iterate and test based on that instead of starting from the ground floor, right? So with AI being the one of the best tools right now to save time, content being another, right? The 4 forms of leverage we talk about: content, code, capital, and labor. Most of our business activities right now are just focused on building more leverage, right? So we talked about what can you do if you're a nobody and you want to become a somebody, right? So you need the offer first.
Yeah.
Then you need to drive attention and leads to it. Great. Now you have people who are seeing your offer and they want your offer. Now you need to know how to sell, right? Sales. And those are the 3 things most business owners focus on: offer, attention and leads, and then sales, consultations, and clients. But the most important pillar isn't any of those 3. It's the 4th one, and that's systems, right? How can I remove myself from every single one of these processes? How can I automate everything? How can I make things run without me so I'm not trading my time for money? So every single time I get a new client, I don't lose another hour of my life.
Yeah.
Right. And so the way that we are automating essentially everything within our business is through AI and content, right?
What's your main way of using AI?
Yeah. So outreach is a huge one. A lot of our clients are using AI cold callers, appointment setters, right? It would take you a team of 100 appointment setters to get through your market in a year or two, whereas AI can do it in a matter of weeks, right? It's not going to cost you any human labor. You don't have to pay for insurance. It's just calling people 24/7, 365. It doesn't take off weekends. It doesn't take off holidays, right? We use AI to automate siloed parts of our process. So for example, we have an AI automation where on a sales call, as soon as someone gets closed on the call, the sales agent will quickly, in a few seconds, fill out a form saying the deal size, the installment dates, the person's name, the person's email, the person's phone number, and any notes that were taken on the call. Takes them 30 seconds to fill out. They fill it out on the call. Now, within seconds, that person is getting a contract sent to them with all of that information. The second they sign that contract, the AI is reaching out to them with their name, starting a conversation, giving them their access to the client portal, creating them a Google Drive, giving them their welcome video, and essentially giving them the most incredible onboarding process they've ever had. In the past, that would take us 2 or 3 different staff members to do, and they would have to prepare those assets for 2 to 3 hours after the sales call, sometimes 2 to 3 days. And the number one cause of churn for a lot of businesses is their onboarding process sucks, right? You collect 15, 20 grand from someone, and then they're waiting 2 to 3 days in the dark, wondering, did I just make the biggest mistake of my life, right? And AI removes that possibility because you can get them that onboarding experience within seconds instead of within days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. So does AI ever close deals themselves? Like robots close deals?
So with lower ticket products, we've had a lot of clients use AIs as their sales agents. So if you're selling window washing or pressure washing, you're selling something for a few $100s, we've completely replaced sales teams with AI now, where the AI.
So I would use that like for my $47 a month program.
Exactly. Your AIs and your DMs. It's having those conversations. It's nurturing leads, handling objections. It has your brain installed in it, and it's closing clients, at $47. Now, if you're going to sell something for $15,000.
But what about voice? Are you using the AI with voice?
So we're starting to more now because it was very dodgy 6 months ago,
Yeah.
12 months ago, right?
Yeah.
The rate of acceleration and of improvement with voice AI is scary, how good it's going, right? I really believe within 6 to 12 months from now, you will not be able to distinguish whether you're speaking to a human or an AI. And I think for
You said 6 months?
I think in 6 to 12 months from now. And I think within 18 months from now, you won't have to make content yourself because AI in video is going to get to such an advanced level that people won't be able to tell if it's you having a podcast or your AI.
Yeah.
And that's going to save you those 8 hours a day.
You think that's scary?
I think it's pretty terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah. People can make videos of like you cheating on your wife and it looks real.
It's already happening.
Really?
Absolutely.
You've seen it?
There was a court case recently where someone was fired from their job, and so they created an AI of their boss, saying terrible things to them, saying that
Don't
they
tell
were...
them that. Yeah.
Don't want to give them any ideas, eh?
About it. I already thought about it.
Yeah. And it ended up going to court, and luckily they ended up finding out in trial that all of the videos were fake. But the court case almost went wrong for the boss because they really believed that the boss was, saying slurs and saying all these terrible things to the staff member, but it was just AI the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, don't tell them. No, well, I mean, there's a lot of, so like, for example, AI, what do you say that, like, go high level? You use go high level?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so like, AI is the one that's kind of having conversations with people, right?
Right.
Using all those
That's
like,
right.
bots and things, yeah, because we do a lot of that as well, so it helps the sales a lot. But you were saying, like, here to close out, that for the, like, AI does its job, but what happens when it's a $15,000 ticket sale? Or let's not even go that far. Let's just say a $5,000 ticket. A $5,000 ticket. So a $5,000 ticket is not pocket change. It's a lot of money to most people. So $47 a month or $29, I get it. They might get closed by AI response, text, whatever. But what about when it's a $5,000 ticket and somebody's like, shit, am I just gonna answer this text, go to the link and swipe and put my card for $5,000? They need more convincing, right?
Yeah.
So what's your advice for people on selling a $5,000 ticket?
Yeah. So sales is just emotion management, right? Ultimately, people make decisions based on emotion. They justify them with logic.
Yeah.
So the entire time you're on the sales call, you have the person thinking, what's my wife going to say if I spend this 15K? What if it doesn't work? What if I end up being a failure? And all of it is just these emotions going through their heads. And AI hasn't evolved to the point yet where it can comprehend abstractly the emotional thought process that's going through someone's mind. And further to that, would you trust a computer to to empathize with you, to have your best interests at heart? I need to see someone's face if I'm going to spend 15, 20, 50 grand with them, right? I need to get on a call with you if you're going to sell me on a 50K mastermind. And I need to know that you're going to be there in my corner.
Yeah.
And that's something now that, we're going to be working on some stuff tomorrow. You're now a mentor of mine. And a big reason that I decided to work with you over a lot of the other large influencers that I've worked with, I feel like if you're a 7, 8, 9-figure entrepreneur, if you're any entrepreneur that's made it to a certain size, you have a dog in you, right? Everyone has to, I have to take my hat off to anyone who's gotten to a certain level. But some entrepreneurs have a chihuahua or a poodle in them.
Yeah.
And you have a Rottweiler in you.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the kind of mentor that I want to work with. Someone that I know is going to put their blood, sweat, and tears into making, because they take it personal. I know you take it personal, the success of your clients, right? It reflects on how you feel about yourself.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Miro, what I say a lot. One thing I say a lot is like, hey, there's a lot of influencers here. You could come up with a bunch of names. I don't have to mention any names, but a lot of influencers that, they're selling training, coaching, all of a sudden they have a nice car, they're flashing a nice lifestyle, but they only been around for like 3 years, maybe 4 years, maybe 5 years, under 5 years. And they're like, ooh, everybody's like, ooh, jumping on that boat, and they think they're all that. But to me, that's cute, because I'm like, dude, wait till they go through a bunch of lawsuits all at once. Wait till they get audited by the IRS. Wait till they get shut down by the state of whatever they are. Wait till they get their accounts frozen. Wait till they have there's just a lot of things that happen in over a decade of being a business owner that they don't understand. And what's going to happen when they go through their first recession? Ooh, that's going to be, I want to see how they're going to respond. So when I think about myself and I think about like a Patrick Bet-David, a Grant Cardone, a Gary V, people like that, a Brad Lee, we've all been around for over a decade. So we've been tested. A leader, CEO, founder that has not been tested cannot be trusted. So a lot of these people, they just come out and cool, they've been doing good for 4 years. Okay, cool. Or less. But what's going to happen when they're really tested? So for me, all of the stuff I mentioned and more has already happened to me. And guess what? I dealt with it and I overcame it. So there's a difference between somebody that has been in business active for over a decade versus those people that are new on the block, because once they go through a really tough time, they will go out of business most definitely. So that's what I like to listen and learn from people that have been in business for a while.
Right. So to wrap up this thought here, what would you say is the leading indicator of success that you look for in an entrepreneur? Would you say it's experience? Or would you say it's something else that you look for as a single indicator?
A winning business track record. So track record. Because there's people that say they have 20 years of experience, but they have 1 year of experience that they repeated 20 times, meaning they've been getting the same results for 20 years. So they're just not they're 40 and they're making the same money when they were 20. They're 60, they're still making the same money when they were 30, 40. So it's not 20 years of experience. They really have 1 year of experience repeating the same bullshit that hasn't gotten them anywhere. So I want people that have, growth experience.
Gotcha. One last thing I'm super curious about.
Yeah.
Have you been to a point where you've lost everything, and what did you do to overcome that? Essentially?
Every year I lose everything. Yeah, every year I go broke. Every year I lose everything. Every year I get I get a lawsuit every year. I get a betrayal every year. Like I deal with different challenges, and the bigger you get, the harder it gets. The more you have to work, and the bigger the problems. So I'll give you a quick example. I have a billionaire friend. You know, like I thought, oh shit, I got a $500,000 lawsuit, and I had to pay all that. This guy gets $28 million lawsuits, all at once, like that. Starts the year off, cool, $28 million lawsuit, $12 million lawsuit. Guess what? He has to put a lot of millions aside to defend it and fight it. And so the bigger you get, the more you work. It's not going to change, because you got to keep growing. If not, you're going to start dying. So yeah, every year I lose everything.
Yeah, I really have no empathy for people who make any kind of excuses within business. When I had shut down my content agency, I didn't do it on purpose. Essentially, I had scaled that business to, 40, 50K a month. And what happened was I was doing a podcast in Miami, and I got robbed, right? So got my laptop taken, got my phone taken.
Yeah.
All my client files were on that laptop and phone. All of my clients dropped me. Went from 50K a month to zero in a matter of days.
Yeah.
That same week, I got defrauded by someone, and Stripe shut down my processor.
Yeah.
So no money, no payment processor.
It's fun.
I had to continue paying for my staff so they wouldn't go hungry. Went 70K in debt paying for those staff, right? So now I'm 70K in debt. I have no way to charge clients. I have no clients left. My business went to zero in a single month.
Yeah.
And I did the only thing I could do at that time, and I sold through the DMs, right? I couldn't afford ads. I couldn't afford a cold email software. My business email got shut down.
Yeah.
And I scaled that business through cold DMs from 0 to 85K a month.
You figured it out.
You have to figure it out. There's always a way to get that outcome. You were talking about, you could be on a hour-long live stream and nothing happens and you give up.
Yeah.
But it could be in 1 hour and 1 minute where you end up making that 20K, right?
Right.
It's like the popcorn effect. It's like you put a bag of popcorn in the microwave for 2.5 minutes, and for the first 2 minutes and 10 seconds, nothing is happening, right? Zero results. And within the last 20 seconds, all of a sudden what happens? The bag explodes, right? Everything comes at once.
Yeah.
Have you found businesses like that most of the time? Your results, have they been long stretches of just eating glass and staring into the abyss, as Elon Musk says?
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere it comes?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. 100%. So you got to figure things out, and every year you're going to have to figure the newer things out, and the more you grow, the more challenges.
Right.
But yeah, brother. So look, if anybody wants to meet you, they want to reach out, they want to hire you, where can people find you? What's the best place?
Absolutely. So on Instagram, Miro Gacic, MIROGACIC, or at personalbrands.com.
Awesome.
Or
brother,
sorry, personalbrands.io rather.
Yeah. And I'll put all the information below. Reach out to Miro, and thanks for being on the show.
Absolutely, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I'm Albert Syl. If you like what you're watching and you want to learn from an entrepreneur that built 8 companies and makes over $30 million a year, text me at 213-277-6208 and let's make it happen.